Hey guys, it's Emily, and today we're going to go over how to get you up and running with GitHub and making sure that you're have a place where you can back up any code that you're doing and any projects that you're doing. This is a great resource for developers, especially in the web industry or in the game industry, as it allows for multiple people to be able to see your code, and it allows for a lot of collaboration. It's a really good you know, version control resource, and it's a really good way to back up your code, so if anything were to happen while you're programming, you know that everything is safe and you can work right out of the command line, and you can work locally and you can push it and it runs off their servers and it's perfect. So if you haven't already, go ahead and create an account with GitHub. You can sign up. I'm already logged in, so I'm not on the screen that you'll probably see, but just get your account set up, and once you do, you'll be on this home page every time you get here. So you're going to want to create a new repository, and you're going to want to name your repository something that kind of makes sense with whatever your project is working on. So as you saw before, I had, two portfolio ones. I think it would be a good idea to name it, whether it's the name of your whole project, if it's a general thing. I know lynda.com uses a lot for their courses, so that way you can get their exercise files. So for the sake of this video, I'm just going to call this test, but you guys call it whatever you would like. You can make it public or private. If you choose to private, then you can allow certain people access to it, and only you will be able to see it. If you make it public, anybody will be able to search GitHub and find it. So that's more of your call on what you want to make it. Initializing it with a README is usually recommended to kind of give whoever's coming to your GitHub, your repository, kind of a rundown on the purpose behind it and any instructions before using the code or looking at the code if they need to have anything installed. It's just a really good way to give your visitors a good overview of everything that's going to be on your repository. So after you initialize with a README and decide you're public or you're private, you can go ahead and create a repository. Now, you'll come to this screen, and as you can see, it creates your README document, and this is what your README will show. It immediately loads onto the screen. If you want to edit your README, you just have to click on it, and you can go in here and you can edit this file. You can do tests, you can add lines. This is a test repo. And then you can commit changes, and it commits directly from GitHub on their servers. If you wanted to upload any sort of code, like if you wanted to add a new file, you could do new file, you could upload files, you could work with new pull request. If you want to work with multiple branches, you can work with multiple branches. We're not going to cover that in this video, but that's something that we can look into later. So once you have your GitHub created, here you can add a description, but you're going to want to make a copy of it on your local systems. That way you can add files to it locally without altering any of the files that are directly on GitHub, and then once you are finished working, then you can commit them. So to do so, you're going to want to go ahead and just copy this link right here to your clipboard just so you have it. So I'm going to clear out this. So, what you're going to want to do is when you open your terminal, you're going to be in the general, mine's Emily, but you're going to be in your general bash folder. So you're going to want to get a list view, or actually, first off, you're going to want to do git clone, and then you're going to want to copy that link. And what that's going to do is it's going to clone a copy of this repository onto your computer. So now, if you do the ls command, you can look at a list of all the folders that you have access to through your user folder. And if you noticed, test is right there. It wasn't in there before, but it is now. So to get access to that folder, you do cd and you type in the name of the folder. And you can do that to any of the folders there. So now if you look up here, we are actually in our test folder. Now we're going to want to add files to it. So I had some pre-made files made. So if we go into our Finder, we'll be able to go into our user general folder, and you look for your repository, and it's right here. And look, your README file's there and everything. You can open that, you can edit it from where you are. To add files here, you can just drag them in, and these just have some lorem ipsum, and this is an adventure game I made not too long ago. So we'll be able to see how code looks. So once that's there, you'll notice that now that you've added them into that folder, they're not actually in your repository yet. You can refresh this as many times as you want, they're not going to show up here. You have to actually push them to your master branch or whatever branch you want them to be put on. So to add files, you do the command git add period, and that adds every file that has been updated, everything that's been worked on, everything that's new. It's going to add it to your test folder on the repository on GitHub. So after git add period, you're going to want to do git commit /m, and then here you're going to want to write just a brief overview of what these commits are. You want to make them short but meaningful, so that way when you or anybody else looks back at your code, you can kind of figure out why you updated what you did or what happened, so they can look for those changes in the actual files. So we're going to say added all new files, and then enter. And so all of these files have been changed. I know this looks like a lot, but don't let it freak you out. So then after you do git add or git commit, you're going to do git push origin master. And that's saying that you're going to push this to the master branch of this repository. And once that finishes, now those files are pushed to the GitHub servers, and they can be found in your repository. So if you refresh your page, you'll see that your files are now there, and your commit comments will go right here. It'll tell you when the person last committed. Now you can go in here and you can view these files, and you have complete access to them. You can go into here, you can look at code. So if I wanted to look at this code.js, I can look at all of the code that exists in that specific file. I can add comments, I could copy this, and I could pull it onto my own server. I can do a whole bunch of different things with this code that would allow me to work on it and edit it without altering this previous version, which makes it super awesome for when you're making a huge game or you're making a huge site and you just want to tweak one little part and you're not quite sure how it'll look. Doing it this way allows you to play with it and mess with it and break it a bunch without actually affecting the previous working version. So that's all it takes to get up and running with GitHub. I was very overwhelmed when I first did it, but you know, after a little bit of practice, you get the hang of it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.